A couple weeks back, I decided to do a silence week. 7 days, no meetings, no phone calls, no commitments. Just me and my thoughts. And during that week, I sat down and wrote out the 12 lessons that actually changed my life. Not the ones that sound good, but the ones I actually live by. My name is Yannick, and over the last 10 years, I built multiple 7-figure businesses. But what I'm most proud of is way simpler than that. I genuinely love my life, and I'm proud of the man I've become. And that's something I want for you as well. In this video, I'm going to share 12 lessons that I wished I lived by earlier. Because trust me, if you do that, it will change your life. All right. What's good, people? Look at this insane place where we are. It's ridiculous. I'm currently in South Africa. This place is called Hemel en Aarde. It's Dutch. But it's insane, man. If you want to have some quiet time and you're in Cape Town or you're just in South Africa, I can definitely recommend this. Normally I make these flashy, high quality edits like these vlogs, but I just wanted to sit down and reflect on the last 10 years. I'm currently 30 years old, and for the last 12 years I've been doing business. I learned a lot. I did a lot of things I shouldn't have done probably. I learned a lot from those things, but I also did some things right because I'm extremely blessed in the position I'm currently in. Like in the last years, I've built a business from the ground up with my business partners, from 3 people, just us 3, to more than 65 people, which was absolutely crazy how fast that grew. I tried a lot of different business models. Some succeeded, some failed. And currently I'm doing something that actually fulfills me, and that's building the new standard. And the new standard is call it a network, a community, a brotherhood for young entrepreneurs who want to get together, keep each other accountable, and actually learn from each other and just want to see each other win and push each other to the next level. We all say that we want to get 1% better every single day, but if you look around, like, do you have the system in place and do you have the people around you actually push you to the next level, or is this something that you just wish to be, right? And that's what the new standard is. You come in this team, this brotherhood of guys who all want to win in this life, not just financially, but in all areas. And yeah, man, my passion goes there. I get a lot of energy from it. I'm doing that full time, and it's the best thing I ever did, to be honest. It gives me a lot of energy. But the reason why I'm sitting down now is in the last year, the new standard grew insanely fast. And 2 weeks ago, I started using the excuse, I am busy. And when I use that excuse, I'm busy, I know, fuck, we need to change something. And the reason for it, we all have 24 hours in a day. If I say that I'm busy, how is it possible that Elon Musk can do Tesla, SpaceX, and all these companies at the same time? It means that I need to rebuild some things, that I need to restructure some things. I need to show up as a different person within my business. That's the reason why I'm sitting here. Like 1 week, I call it the silence week, just reflecting on everything that happened and how we can solve the biggest bottlenecks in the business, see where we can reinvent the things that we're doing, and making sure that we can actually scale so that we can make a bigger impact. I just sat down with myself, and over the last days I've been thinking and reflecting, and I came up with 12 lessons that I've learned in the last, call it a decade, but I wanted to share it with you guys. So this will be 12 lessons of me, someone who is doing business for over 12 years, something I wish I heard when I was building my business. And it doesn't matter if you're starting out, if you're currently scaling, if you're already successful. I think literally any entrepreneur, doesn't matter what business you're doing, this can be extremely valuable to you as well. Let me start with the first one. You must slow down in order to accelerate. I used to be this hungry guy who was so driven and wanted to make this business thing work. I was just going, go. You didn't see me on parties. You didn't see me on activities. I was very antisocial. I just played sports. That was it. The rest, I was just working. I was all in. But I think especially the last 2 years, I learned that if you want to be a successful founder, you need to act like one. And a founder is not necessarily an operator who's constantly in the weeds and doing all the things. So I had to learn to stand still, to see everything from above, and then make the decisions that resulted in us as a business accelerating instead of standing still or even like decreasing. So me sitting here for a full week in the middle of nowhere is just me listening to my own advice. Like, if I want to grow, I need to make sure that I sometimes stand still, reflect on the things happening, and then make high over decisions that I can only see when I stand still and have an overview of what's actually happening, not just in business, but also in my life. So if you recognize yourself in this and you can't sit still and you just want to do something constantly, trust me, do this. I did this reflection with Claude in the last week, and it really, really helped me. And I was just chatting with Claude and I came to like 15 decisions I would have missed if I didn't do this week. The second one is intention over action. I used to come from a position of lack instead of abundance. When I was younger, we basically could do everything, right? We went on holidays, we could buy sneakers, PlayStation games, whatever. And then one day, one of my dad's clients got bankrupt, and overnight we went from a family that was doing okay to a family that could basically pay nothing anymore. My dad had to loan money by some people so that we actually could survive. And that made such a big impact on me that I never wanted to have that situation in my life ever again. So that was my motivation, that was my drive. It's a pretty like red, pushy force instead of an inspirational force. And I always came from that place. I just wanted to make money because I didn't want to be in that financial stress. Now the intention is different. Like I come from a place of stillness, calm. I want to make an impact. I want to see people grow, and I'm not like thinking about a couple $1,000 and I have to make money. I need to make this. No, it's just like I know for a fact if I do this and I keep doing this, I make such a big impact that I'm not only helping myself financially or in any way, but also everyone who is involved, like my team, but also all the members inside of the new standard. So intention over action, like knowing where to go, knowing the direction is so important instead of just going. One of my favorite artists is J. Cole, and in his song Love Yours, he says, "The good news is you came a long way. The bad news is you went the wrong way." And I think so many of us are just going because we have this desire to be rich or to have money or whatever. And then we are there, and then we come to the realization that this wasn't what we wanted in the first place. So always thinking like, what is that thing you want to have, instead of just going and seeing what happens. And the second thing about this is what I mean with intention over action is, like, everyone knows who knows me, I'm against OnlyFans management and all this shit. I feel like it makes men weak, and I feel like we need to make each other stronger. So just because you want to make money, you do OnlyFans management, but you don't think about the consequences of other people's lives. So I think it's weak to do. That's my opinion. You can think of it what you want. If you do something like that, you do OnlyFans management or you do whatever, and you know it's bad, and you know that's the intention, you don't give a fuck that it's bad because you just want to make money, then karma will happen, like the universe will punish you. So intention over everything. Intention over the action you're doing. Integrity over discipline. I feel like discipline is such a blown up word. It's like, oh, discipline over motivation. And I feel like, no, it's not discipline over motivation. You need to define what you're saying, right? So what does discipline mean? Discipline means that you do something that you don't like to do, but you know it's good for anything like you want to achieve. So you still do it, even though you don't want to do it. That's what discipline means, especially when you don't get the reward for a very long time, but you still do it because you think long term this is going to benefit me. In my opinion, integrity is so much more important than discipline, because integrity consists of things you want to do and things you don't want to do. Yes, you need discipline in order to achieve those things, but integrity just says, like, if you say that you're going to do something, then you do it. It's that simple. In the moment, we all know what to do. We all know how to fix things, and we all know what we want. But when we need to take the action, then the second guessing comes in. Then we start doubting ourselves, or then we're procrastinating and not doing the things we said we were going to do. If integrity is one of your biggest values and standards, life will happen exactly how you want it to happen. So fuck discipline. Embrace integrity. If you say something, you do it. So the fourth one is language creates reality. I've been doing the new standard now for 12 months, and I've seen people who are stuck in negative language patterns, and I've seen people who are basically stuck in positive language. So you can choose which one you pick. To give you an example, we had this masterclass with Noah Tucker. He sold his company Social Snowball for 35 million at 25 years old. And what he was saying is like, I just always believed that I could do it. I never doubted myself. I saw myself as a legend, and I just went with that identity. Most people say, like, I don't know if I can do it, like I doubt if I'm worthy of success or that I can make money. And what I see in those guys, the extreme successful guys, they never had the self-doubt. Why would you take the power away from yourself? It doesn't make sense. And all these limiting beliefs are just doom scenarios you created in your head. I always ask, like, okay, when you have this limiting belief and you tell yourself something that you cannot do it or that you are not worthy, give me the facts. What are the facts that you cannot do it? If you have actual facts, okay, fine. Then it's not a belief, then it's just a result of what happened. In most scenarios, in most cases, it's just something that you made way too big in your head. Recently, I went to Dubai because I got invited by millionaire commerce like Samuel and Ruben Onua to speak about what we do within the New Standard. And we came there and I invited two videographers, also guys who are member of the New Standard. And we came in the hotel room and it wasn't cleaned. It was still dirty. All the sheets were like all over the place. And their initial response was like, oh, fuck, I want to sleep. Like, why is this happening? And I was like, well, it's probably for a reason. Like, let me ask the host and let me see what we can arrange. Long story short, we ended up in a way better apartment for the content, for everything that we wanted to do, because that place was extremely important for the things we had to shoot. And I told them as well, we were in the same situation, but we had a completely different experience. I chose to not let that situation influence my mood and just to go and see like, okay, probably this is for a reason. Let's just see what is going to happen. And even it could end up worse. Like the whole situation was better for me. Pick your language wisely, because the language will create the actual reality you live in. Freedom without structure becomes chaos. Initially, when I started with business, I wanted to have this freedom, right? This is the first thing you hear when you start with entrepreneurship. Location freedom, time freedom, financial freedom. Then the moment you got it, okay, now I have all this freedom, but now I have all these options, endless options, which creates a prison of itself, like a mental prison. Everyone feels bored after like 2 months at the same place. Every time you feel bored, you have a way out. So you just say like, okay, let's book a flight to this place and stay there. But I felt like at one moment, it just felt like a prison. Like I was craving structure and routine so much. And that's also the reason why from April on, we have this place in Lisbon, this apartment, and we're just going to stay there because I just want to have this place for myself, a place where I can go home. Having the freedom is amazing, but I feel like I need to limit myself in some ways in order to actually enjoy my freedom, which is like, I'm free in my head, but I still have my base and my structure. Enjoy the journey, because that's literally all we have. And I know it's extremely cliche, but it's really the case. This one is a stolen lesson, but it resonates so much with me, and it's from Naval Ravikant, and he is literally the GOAT. He says,
desire to me is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want.
We all have big desires. We want to have freedom. We want to have financial freedom, location freedom. We want to have a specific car. We want to have a big house. We want to have a good relationship. Those things are like great desires because it creates a more pleasant reality and experience on this planet. But what I realized is we all have these useless desires that add nothing to our lives, that will happen anyway. You have minimal to none control over those things. And this is a lesson I learned like 2 weeks ago. I was listening to Naval again. And then I realized like we as humans, we have micro desires. So a micro desire could be, I don't want to be in traffic. I want everything to go smooth. That's a subconscious desire you can have, but something you maybe don't realize you have. When you end up in traffic and you are in a hurry, for example, then that desire kicks in. You start stressing, you get annoyed, you maybe start shouting, whatever. You feel a negative emotion, which impacts your experience on this planet. So having the desire to always go smoothly through traffic is a useless desire to have, because you cannot influence traffic. Yes, you can find ways to go around it or whatever, but if it happens, it happens. And then at that specific moment, you have the decision and the choice to just enjoy the moment still. You can get annoyed, you can get angry, you can do whatever, but it doesn't make sense. If you see this and the next time you end up in this situation you don't have any control over, realize it's just a subconscious small micro desire you created for yourself, that you should go smoothly through traffic and don't stand into traffic or before a red light or whatever it might be. You still have a choice that you can enjoy that specific moment. Listen to a podcast, meditate. I don't know what you can do when the car is standing still, but this was such a beautiful lesson, and I still catch myself sometimes on things I get annoyed about, and I'm like, you know, it is what it is. Problems don't exist. What do I mean with this? We had this masterclass with Floris. Floris is a friend of me. He's the owner of Mother's Earth. So during that Q&A we had with Floris in TNS, I asked him, how do you deal with setbacks? Like, you have a company with more than 40, 45 FTE, like people working for you, if something happens, it's not just about you, it's about all of them. So how do you deal now with setbacks in comparison to how you dealt with setbacks when you were just a solopreneur or just had a smaller team? And he said, it's funny that you ask, because I don't see problems as problems anymore. I see them as challenges. I fucking love them. I just see an opportunity to have this extreme exponential growth curve in my personal development, because if I solve this problem, I become a better entrepreneur, I become a better leader, I become a better person. So instead of seeing it as a problem, I just see it as a challenge and a decision I have to make. This ties to the language creates a reality lesson. It's like, if you choose to see this as a challenge and something that's part of the game, a condition of the game, instead of a problem, your reality becomes so much more fun. You stress less. Also, if your team is seeing this and people around you, it's just infectious. It's like, if you can handle these situations with that calm and that stillness, you're going to win in life. 100% sure. Conviction over confidence always. What I've seen in the last 12 months as well, when I was guiding a lot of young entrepreneurs, is we all want to start at the finish. We all want to feel confident when we do something new. So let's say we start with building a personal brand. We don't do it because we feel insecure, because it's something we never did before. And the reason why we don't do it is because we want to feel confident when we do it. But that's the other way around. You cannot start doing something with confidence. And let me throw in a model as well we use in order to actually understand this. And this is a model of Dan Sullivan. If you don't know Dan Sullivan, he's one of the best business strategists out there. He wrote Who Not How and 10x is easier than 2x. Two of my favorite business books out there. It's absolutely ridiculous. And he has this model, it's called the 4C framework. And he says, like, in order to get confidence, which is the fourth C, you first need to have commitment. You need to commit to build a personal brand. Then you need to have courage, because you need to do something you never did before. You probably suck at it. So to do it, especially with a personal brand, you need to fail publicly in order to get better. But once you do it over and over again, and you show up with courage, you get capable. And with capabilities, what do you think comes? Confidence. The first time Djokovic or Carlos Alcaraz or whatever stood on that tennis pitch, he didn't feel confident probably, but he put so much time and effort in it, and now it's second nature. So he feels extremely confident. He didn't start at Wimbledon. He didn't start at having a 4 Grand Slam in, what age is he, like 25 years old, 24? No, it all started with him trying something new, doing something while you still suck at it. And that made him confident, and that made him the player he is today. And the same goes with everything you do. Everything new you start is something you need to do while you suck at it in order to get better at it. So instead of wanting to do everything with confidence, do it with conviction. Conviction is a behavior. Confidence is a feeling. Feeling comes. You cannot force a feeling. You cannot force feeling happy. You cannot force feeling angry. It's something that comes by a reaction on something that is happening. Confidence comes by being capable. But conviction is a decision. I can sit here with full conviction even though I might feel insecure. I show up as the best version of myself. I feel convicted. I do it with conviction. And that comes across way more confident than when I was sitting here like this and just doing this for the first time. It's like, you can choose the energy you come from. That's the stance you decide to operate from. Use a big vision as your guidance system. If you listen to this, do this. Don't just listen, but please implement this, because this brought so much to my life. And that's creating a crystal clear vision on all pillars of life. 3.5 years ago, I wrote this vision as if it was a autobiography of my book, like in 5 years. Not just how much money do I make or how does my physique look? No, what conversations do I have? What people are around me? Where do I live? What does my house look like? Like, what do I smell? What do I hear? I made it so real that when I read it, I get goosebumps. When I speak about it, I get goosebumps. I include all the most important people of my life in that vision. I have conversations with them. And when I think of it and when I speak about it, I get goosebumps, and it holds emotion. Just a goal on a piece of paper is no emotion. You need to know why you are doing. Just making 1 million, it's empty. 1 million, it's nothing. The money is worth nothing. It's not about the amount of money, it's about what you can do with the money. So just saying 1 million doesn't mean anything. What do you want to do with the million? What does that change in your life? Knowing that, working towards that, creates this extreme intention and call it a why in your life that makes you actually move and go through obstacles like it's nothing. I always say if the challenge or the obstacle is bigger than the reason why you're doing it, you will fail. You will lose from the challenge. But if the reason you're doing it is so much bigger than anything that can come on your way, you will just go through it. There is no other way. So having a big vision and knowing exactly where you want to go to is a non-negotiable. This one is a little bit more practical, but the moment I truly understood this and implemented this in my business and day-to-day, it changed so much. I'm using something called the leverage ladder. Everything I do, I categorize in highest leverage, high leverage, mid leverage, and low leverage. I want to make sure that my time is spent on the highest leverage things only I can execute, because otherwise I can just better delegate it. And the thing with this is it's dynamic, it will move. Things that were highest leverage for me, I only could execute at that moment, are things that I delegated now. So it will always like evolve. The question I always get when people want to implement this is, but how do you know what the highest leverage task is you can do? I found a solution for this. The way you can find what the absolute highest leverage thing is you can do is asking yourself, what is my biggest bottleneck at this moment in the business? Answer those questions. So let's say lead flow or closing rate or whatever it might be. Can be anything. Conversion on product page. Then the moment you start doing the leverage ladder, you need to tie everything that you do to those bottlenecks. If it's not solving that specific bottleneck, it's not high leverage. Business is problem solving, always. You solve a problem, a bigger one occurs. So you always need to ask, like, what is the biggest problem I have? What is the biggest bottleneck? And then see what tasks will solve that problem, or who can I hire to solve that problem? And then the hiring part becomes solving the problem. So I will probably share like a tool I use, the leverage ladder, and you can use it yourself. Try it because it's an absolute game changer. 11, help more people. I believe in what you give is what you get. It gives so much energy. It's a positive source. You give something and you will see the effect in other people from it, and that gives so much energy, at least for me. Besides that, you will understand the thing you're explaining so much better. You can know something, but if you cannot verbally explain what you know, then it's just knowing, you don't understand what you're saying. It's just recycled information. The moment you need to verbalize what you think you understand, you actually need to understand. Me sitting in front of this camera, saying this and just getting these lessons out of my system forces me to explain the things I know in order for me to understand them, actually understand them. Me doing this community, the new standard, besides that it's helping so many young people, it's also helping me to get better at my craft and to understand the things that I know on a deeper level. On to the last one, and this is something I live by, like it's even I think it's my bio in TNS, playing the game of life. What I have seen is I have played this game by the rules of someone else, and I've now decided to play the game by my own rules. You can design your own game. You can pick your character. You can do whatever. You can be whoever you want to be. But it's a very, very conscious decision. You can literally be anyone. You can play this game as someone who has a business. You can play this game as someone who is an employee. You can play this game as a community owner, like someone who builds communities. You can play this game as an e-com business operator, but you have to decide. You have to step in that ownership mentality and not in the victimhood mentality, because if you do that, trust me, and you do it for long enough and you're consistent and you get capable, you will actually get to the exact place you want to be. If you listen to those 12 lessons I just explained to you and you show up like the absolute best version of yourself, life will be everything you wanted. With that being said, I think this is a very long video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm curious, let me know in the comment what the biggest lesson for you was. And as I always say, knowing information won't bring you anywhere. You got the information and now it's time to implement it, because just knowing something is just a waste of brain space. It doesn't bring you anywhere. Take the action in your full capacity, no limits, and then it will actually serve you. So with that being said, thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao.